नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सुरगुणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone for this today's session on Bhakti Shastri. So we are in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and in the last session we discussed till verse number 6, and we had a good amount of discussion about the concept called as Mithyachar. Mithyachar and Satyachar. That what is Mithyachar? Mithyachar means a pretender, and who is a pretender and who is not a pretender. That discussions we had in the last session. So we know in the third chapter of this Bhagavad Gita, action offered to the Lord without So in the third chapter, action offered to the Lord without personal desire is described, and that is basically called as Karma Yoga. And the end of the chapter also discusses about the discrimination necessary for a person desiring to conquer over lust and anger. So that is also shown in this chapter. So in just a minute, huh? Then we are setting up the environment little proper to discuss. Yeah. So the first verse begins with Arjuna getting confused. So the third chapter explains in detail the concept of Nishkama Karma. And here there is also a method which is mentioned about how to conquer over the lust, which is one of the most difficult thing to conquer. So if Arjuna is acting as a medium for all of us to desire the entire universe, which is covered by ignorance. So he's asking about, so the next four chapters are there. Chapter number 3, chapter number 4, chapter number 5, and chapter number 6 are actually explained the same concept about Nishkam Karma in a little more and more better and better understanding. That's why the first 6 chapters are called as Karma Yoga section. Now, if you see, the fourth chapter name is Transcendental Knowledge. Fifth chapter name is again Karma Yoga in Krishna Consciousness. And sixth chapter name is Dhyan Yoga. Although sixth chapter name is Dhyan Yoga, but the entire sections of first six chapter is called as Karma Yoga. So how it is like that? So better and better understanding of Nishkam Karma Yoga is given. That's why this is called as Karma Yoga. The first verse begins with, he's asking to Keshava. He's asking to Keshava that you told me so much knowledge till now. You told me the knowledge about soul, you told me the knowledge about Karma Yoga, Karma Kanda, but actually I have got so much confused. You should not confuse yourself. You should not confuse anyone with so many things which you explain. Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, Karma Yoga. And actually this was all presented very unsystematically. Unsystematically means there was no beginning कि कब क्या बताया जा रहा है, कब क्या बताया जा रहा है. So Arjuna felt कि it was not very organized manner. You tell with very clearly, don't confuse me. So he uses the word Vyamishrena. Vyamishrena means don't mix the words. You have multiple meanings. Confusion is arising in my mind. What is better? Why confusion arises? Because Krishna uses this word buddhi and karma, the words which are Krishna using the word buddhi yoga, and then what is that? What is it? Last section, sita pragya, sita pragya. So this all are the qualities of a gnana yogi, buddhi yoga and sita pragya. These are all qualities of a gnana yogi, and at the same time, you tell me, okay, now do nishkam karma. So this is creating a lot of confusion in me. So now explain to me what is. So till now we discussed about 6 verses. So today we'll continue from. Oh, can you make me host? Okay. Uh, so we'll continue from the 7th verse onwards. So now who is called as mithyachar and who is not mithyachar? So Arjuna Krishna will himself clear that who is called as mithyachar and who is a person who is not a mithyachar. Okay, what is the sign of a sincerity? So verse number 3.7. Yastu indriyani manasa नियम यारभते अर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रिय कर्मयोगम आसक्त स विशिष्यते. So here it is mentioned that who is a person who cannot be called as pretender. So although his mind and senses may give him trouble, and okay, please read the translation.
On the on the other hand, if a sincere person try to control the active senses by the mind and begin karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior.
Now you see why Karma Yoga, Arjuna Krishna is telling Karma Yoga is greater. And Prabhupada always writes Karma Yoga as Bhakti only, almost in Krishna consciousness. So there is one special quality. If Karma Yoga is performed with that special quality, then it becomes very, very superior. It becomes almost like a Bhakti. That is called as without attachment. Generally, it is very difficult for us to do any kind of work without attachment. How to do work without attachment? You do a work, but you are told, okay, don't worry about the fruits. You do the work, so it's very tough. But this is what the secret. We should do our duties without attachment for the results. And this is far, far superior. And it is saying it is much more better even than controlling the senses by mind. And so he said, it begins karma yoga. So one should learn to be freed from attachment. So Prabhupada is writing very beautiful, and this purport is really amazing purport. This purport is also like even a grahastha in Krishna consciousness is far, far better. And I think say not far better. He is much, much best than even the Gnyan Yogi in the Himalayas. The grahastha who is engaged with wife, producing children, doing all household chores, going for IT job, how he becomes better even than a yogi who is sitting in Himalayas or a Jnana yogi sitting in the Himalayas and just meditating on nothing and not engaging. So Prabhupada is writing very beautifully here that how a devotee is a very special person. Yeah, please read the purport.
Becoming a pseudo transcendentalist for the sake of wanton living and sense enjoyment, it is far better to remain a one own business and execute the purpose of life, which is to get free from the material bondage and enter into the kingdom of God. The prime sarvartha gati or goal of self
Swarthagati.
Partagati or goal of the self interest is to reach the Vishnu. The whole institution of Sarvana and Asrama is designed to help us reach to the goal of life. Householder can also reach to the destination by regulated service in Krishna consciousness. For self-realization, one can live a controlled life as prescribed in the Shastra and continue carry out his business without attachment, and in that way make progress. A sincere person who follow this method is far better situated than the false pretender who adopt show and bottle spiritualism to cheat the innocent public. The census sweeper in the street is far better than the charlath meditator who meditate only for the sake of making a living.
This is one of the very famous golden statement. Prabhupada writes, a sincere sweeper in the street is far better than a charlatan meditator. Charlatan मतलब जो बंगी बोलते हैं ना भरली. Charlatan मतलब जो धोखेबाज meditator है. He said, और हमारे भंगी जो है हमारे मंदिर का भंगी मतलब अल्दो बोलने के लिए भंगी थोड़ा सा लगता है कम. इसे हमारे मंदिर में भंगी है या जो रास्ते में जो भंगी है जो अपना काम कर रहा है वो ये मंदिर का भंगी भी नहीं बोला है. मंदिर का भंगी नहीं बोला है. बोले रास्ते पे जो भंगी साफ सफाई करता है ही इज मच मोर बेटर देन इवन चार्लटन मेडिटेटर हु meditates only for the sake of living. So he said a sadhu or a yogi or a renunciate who is actually taking to the profession of renunciation just for his making his living livelihood. He said such a person is not at all appreciated by Lord. One who does a drama just to cheat the innocent public. And Prabhupada is writing here, what is the prime Swarthagati? Swarthagati means all of us are Swarthis in life. So he said Swartha is not bad. The selfishness is not bad. So he said the prime most Swarthagati is to reach Vishnu. And we should be selfish about it. Not that ki, arey, this is the real selfishness. Selfishness in the real quality is to attain the Swarthagati, to reach to Vishnu. सो एवरीवन शुड बी स्वार्थी. अरे मैं पहुंच पाऊंगा कि नहीं भगवत धाम, ऐसा करूंगा तो भगवत धाम जा पाऊंगा या नहीं जा पाऊंगा. दिस इज अ वेरी वाइटल थिंग टू बी रिमेंबर्ड. एंड प्रोपर इज अगेन राइटिंग हियर, better to execute your own duties what are there and which that is and work upon getting free from material bondage. So Prabhupada is writing a householder can also reach. Now you see on the path of Mayavad, unless you take sannyas, you cannot become qualified for becoming devotee. सन्यासी मीन्स अगर हम मायावत पात में होते तो कब से पहला स्टेप क्या है कंपलसरी परफेक्शन का सन्यास. बाकी लोगों का कोई वैल्यू नहीं है, ऑलमोस्ट कोई वैल्यू नहीं है. कोई अगर ब्रह्मचारी है तो भी बेचारा ठीक है स्ट्रगल कर रहा है, गृहस्थ है माया में ही है. जब तक आप सन्यास में नहीं लेते तब तक आप भक्ति स्पिरिचुअलिटी चालू ही नहीं करते. लेकिन शिल प्रभुपाद ऐसा नहीं कह रहे. शिल प्रभुपाद कह रहे हैं a householder can also reach this certain destination by bhakti yoga. So that's why Krishna is telling here, don't unnecessarily try to renounce. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, he is already married. Now you may say कि अर्जुन को ऐसा बोला. Yeah, one thing was Arjuna was already married. He already had children. Was already ruling. तो that's why अर्जुन को कृष्णा ने अलग बताया. अर्जुन ने बोला तुम तुम्हारा ड्यूटी में लगे हो, तुम्हारी ड्यूटी करो. ऑन द सेम टाइम नारद मुनि ने दक्ष प्रजापति के 100 बच्चों को ऐसा नहीं बोला. बेचारे ब्रह्मचारी थे, बोले चांस था इनके पास ब्रह्मचारी रहने का, तो बोले देखो पॉसिबल है तो ब्रह्मचारी रहो और आगे कंटिन्यू करो. मीन्स यू सी that was a mention. So here sincere sweeper in the street is far better than charlatan meditator who just lives for the sake of making a living. So Vishwanath Chakra Thakur is also writing, householder who is not a sannyasi and who performs scriptural actions. Okay, Tejas Prabhu, any issue with the network? You raise the hand, Tejas Prabhu. Sorry, not able to hear you. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी आवाज आ रहे हैं.
Okay, आ रहा है ना आवाज? Okay, fine.
Projit Tejas Prabhu want to ask a question.
Okay, fine. So Ramanujacharya says in this regard that a person who is a householder and who performs his scriptural actions is far better than a sannyasi or a jnani. So that's why it is said, do your prescription. Now that's why Krishna is going to tell in the next verse, don't give up your duties. Don't give up your karmas, which are supposed to be done for you. Don't give up karma. You should not forget your karmas. Yes, Tejas Prabhu, please tell. Sorry, you are asking question. I'm not able to hear. Okay, Tejas Pro is speaking or
Prabhu
somewhere?
ji, I think उनका माइक्रोफोन काम नहीं कर रहा.
नहीं, वो तो पीछे से किसी से बात कर रहा है.
Rohan Prabhu is there.
Prabhuji, I will text in chat box
Okay.
later.
Yeah. So next verse. नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्मज्ञायो अकर्मणः शरीरयात्रपि च ते न प्रसीदेद कर्मणा. नियतम कुरु कर्मत्वम. नियतम, नियतम का मतलब क्या? जो कर्म आपको नित्य नियम है आपके, उसको करते रहो. नियतम, नियतम प्रिस्क्राइब. तो कुछ लोग इसको प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटीज बोलते हैं, कुछ आचार्य इसको स्क्रिप्चरल ड्यूटीज बोलते हैं. कि जो भी आपके स्क्रिप्चरल ड्यूटीज है, जैसे संध्या वंदन है, गायत्री है, चैंटिंग है, या जो भी हमारा अलग अलग कर्मज है, उसको करते रहो. और इवन शरीर को मेंटेन करना है तो भी कुछ काम करना पड़ता है. बिना काम किए दुनिया में कुछ नहीं होता. तो प्रभु कृष्ण कह रहे हैं बिना काम किए कुछ भी नहीं होता है. कुछ ना कुछ तो काम करना ही पड़ता है. अगर आपको शरीर भी चलाना है तो कुछ ना कुछ काम करना पड़ेगा. अगर आप बोलोगे कि मैं काम छोड़ दूंगा तो ये पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. तो इसलिए बोल रहे हैं कि डोंट जम्प टू दैट. यस प्रो. परपट ट्रांसलेशन.
Perform your prescribed duty. For doing so, it is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work.
You cannot even maintain your physical body without work. Then why do you say that suddenly I will take to the renounce order and I will not, I will stop doing all kinds of work? So Krishna is trying to again convince him that do your work, don't give up the duties. You are trying to, sometimes this tendency also comes to us. Suddenly we feel one day, I think I should just give up everything. And suddenly one day we feel, no, I should do everything. So this, we want to give up. Renunciation, the spirit comes. But this renunciation is a false renunciation. Renunciation means renunciation of attachment to the work. That is real renunciation. We should not be attached to the work. Neither we should be attached to the results. So duties should be performed without attachment. And this applies to Krishna conscious devotee also. Many times when we are rendering seva to Lord Krishna, we are very attached to the fruits of our action. Let's say I'm going for book distribution. And while going for book distribution, I'm already too much worried. Somebody will take our book or not take. What if I go and nobody is there? So we imagine hundreds of difficulties without even starting. Or I'm going for follow-up. Or somebody will shift or not. Or somebody will become devotee or not. Or if I go, they will not listen to me. They'll not chant around. We have too much worries about the success, failure, result and all. So he said, success is not in the result obtained. Success is not in this. Success in the activity done to please the Lord. Srila Prabhupada went to the Western countries with this consciousness. He had no actually hope. He had no hope only that 70 years में जाके कुछ अमेरिका में कर पाएंगे. अगर देखा जाए तो मटेरियली पूरा होपलेस कंडीशन है. 3 हार्ट अटैक आ रहा है, पैसा नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. इतना होपलेस सिचुएशन में कोई सेवा करने की इच्छा कर रहा है. तो इसलिए ये सेवा करने की इच्छा करना विदाउट अटैचमेंट, ये कब आता है? जब भगवान पे भरोसा है कि भगवान एक्चुअली रिजल्ट के प्रोवाइडर है, हम नहीं है रिजल्ट के प्रोवाइडर. तो हमें भगवान को हमारे हाथों से सिर्फ दिखाना है. जैसे कि रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी जब मेडिटेशन करते थे तो एक बार आई थिंक जर्नी होम बुक में भी राधानाथ महाराज जब ट्रैवल कर रहे थे तो उनको एक बाबा जी ने एक लकड़ी दिया. देख पता है आपको, एक लकड़ी दिया. तो बोले लकड़ी किस लिए? बोले आप जंगल में जाते हो, अगर शेर बेर आएगा तो उनको भगाने के लिए लकड़ी काम आएगी. महाराज हंसने लगे, बोले शेर शेर को भगाने के लिए वो भी एक छोटा सा लकड़ी, नॉर्मल ऐसा नहीं कि कोई बहुत बड़ा बाम्बू का स्टिक है, छोटा सा लकड़ी है, क्या करेगा वो? बोले वैसे भी तुम कुछ नहीं कर सकते शेर से बचने के लिए, शेर तो खाने ही वाला है. लेकिन तुम्हारे हाथ में क्या है? एटलीस्ट कुछ तो है, तो कुछ तो कर पाओगे. तो तुम्हारे हाथ में इतना ही है, तुम जंगल में जा रहे हो, हिमालय में जा रहे हो, इधर जा रहे हो, तो एक लकड़ी लेके जाओ. तो और वो लकड़ी सिर्फ लेके गए तो बहुत सारे एनिमल्स उनके बाजू में नहीं आए, केवल दिखाने के लिए. तो ही सेड दिस इज कॉल्ड अ स्टिक ऑफ साधुस ग्रेस. मीन्स महाराज लिखता है स्टिक ऑफ साधुस ब्लेसिंग. ही सेड हमारा काम है, हमारा कर्तव्य हमें करना है विदाउट अटैचमेंट टू द रिजल्ट्स. सो व्हेन वी फोकस ऑन दिस, then one person is freed from all kinds of anxieties. Purport. Yes, bro.
There are many pseudo mediators who mispresent themselves as a being great professional men for high percentage, and who falsely pose that they have sacrificed everything for the sake of advancement in spiritual life. Lord Krishna did not want Arjuna to become the pretender. Rather, the Lord desired that Arjuna perform his prescribed duty as set forth for Kshatriyas. Arjuna was a householder and military general, and therefore it was better for him to remain as such and perform his religious duty as prescribed for the householder Kshatriya. Such activity gradually cleans the heart of the mundane man and free him from material contamination. So-called renunciation for the purpose of maintenance in is never approved by Lord nor by any religious scripture. After all, one has to maintain one's body and soul therefore together by some work. Work should not be give up capriciously without purification of materialistic properties. Anyone who is in material world is certainly possesses of impure propensity for lording over the material nature, or in other hand for sense gratification. Such polluted propensities have to be clear. Without doing so through prescribed duties, one should not never attempt to become a so-called transcendentalist, renounce work, and living at the cost of others.
Yeah. So you here see, all of us have some materialistic propensities. And if we stop, if we suddenly stop all those propensities of doing materialistic work and kind of acting in, we have that material contamination. So, but he said when we perform the duties, they free us from the attachment. So sometimes people say, no, experience is the best teacher. Although sometimes we criticize it, but in one way it is true. Experience is a good teacher. Like when you go through an experience of certain activity, then there is a sort of then a person learns a lesson. Little bit lesson we learn, although we may not learn full lesson, but ultimate lesson we learn by only Shuddhikaran only, unless the purification is not happening. But little bit lesson is learned, and when this lesson is learned, then one, like if you see so many things in this life, we have learned through lesson only, by experiencing only. What all things we have experienced, we have learned through lesson. Means you have learned some good lesson through lesson. Understood, na? You have got some lesson or some experience and you have learned a lesson. What all things you feel that by experience you have learned these things? Okay. Means I'm telling what not to do. Can you just tell, some devotees can share what all things you feel that you have learned through experience?
Going to the station as early as possible. That's
Amazing. Going to railway station on time. If we don't go on time, then we miss the train. And 1-2 times we miss the train, or 1-2 times we land up in trouble. Next time we are little alert. But some people still don't learn the lesson. Okay. Overeating, oversleeping. Okay, oversleeping. Okay, fine. Experience ही समझ में आता है. ऐसे तमोगुण में आता है. और swimming. Okay. I'm telling, especially certain lessons we learn through our bad experience. Bad experience teaches us certain things. What all bad experience teaches us?
power nap, Guruji. Sometimes we go for power nap alone in the corner room, and it becomes 4 to 5 hours.
It becomes powerful nap. Okay. So Vivek Pro is telling very powerful point, very good point. Late night japa. How nicely the late night japa happens. Everyone has got experience, especially when 8-10 rounds are remaining at night, 11 o'clock. So amazing japa it happens. It's frustration only. And casual behavior leads to casualty. So experience is pratyaksha is also praman. But what Krishna consciousness does is, we ultimately will learn to pratyaksha only. We learn to pratyaksha, but pratyaksha accompanied by shabda is a very good praman. Pratyaksha accompanied by Shabda. So when we heard also, and then we are a little bit experienced also, then both goes very well. Means हाँ प्रभु जी ने बोला था ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, मैंने एक्सपीरियंस भी कर लिया अभी, तो थोड़ा सा कन्विक्शन बढ़ जाता है, राइट ना? या sleeping late night, we know next day what amazing ecstasy comes in morning program. So here it is said, that's why you see Srila Prabhupada did not suddenly told all the disciples, okay, you just start going to Radhakund and start chanting 64 rounds. If we know the process of chanting is the topmost process, or deity worship, or doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, but Srila Prabhupada did not ask devotees to just give up. Srila Prabhupada used the material propensities which we have in service. Okay, you like construction, do construction. You're by your nature, you like accounts, you run the accounts, you do book distribution. So this tendencies, that's why Krishna consciousness is an amazing process. One has to engage and dovetail his propensities. Whatever propensities one has got, whatever act, the desire to do some work is there. He said it should be used in Krishna's service. And when it is used, these tendencies get purified. And then one comes to the higher level. One gets elevated to the higher level. So that's why Krishna consciousness is different. But those who are not Krishna conscious and he will suddenly give up the work, they'll not be able to remain happy. They will just become pretender on the name of being a renunciate. That's why Krishna is telling here, don't become pretender, don't give up your work suddenly, unless you are pure from your materialistic propensities. Okay. Ninth one. This is a very famous verse. How to perform work. This is the art of doing work. How to perform any kind of work. So here Krishna is telling very famous shloka, and this will come in your shloka test also. So ninth one. यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धन तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गसमाचर यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धन तदर्म कर्म कौन्तेय आगे मुक्त संग समाचर. So now Arjuna suddenly started feeling, Krishna, you are telling me that you should do work, you should do work, you should do work, you should do work. Again and again you are doing same thing. But Arjuna recollected from Mahabharata. Now amazing thing is Mahabharata is their story only, na? But Arjuna is recollecting from Mahabharata. In Mahabharata it is written, in Mahabharata it is written that any kind of work bounds the person. Any kind of work which you do, it is binding. That's natural. आप कुछ भी काम करो आपको उसका कर्म मिलता है. There is a statement in Mahabharata. Karmana baddhate jantur. Every jantu, or every jantu means living entity. Every living entity is bound up by karma. And he said he will get reactions for it. So in Mahabharata it is written like that. That if I do any kind of work, I will get reaction for it. And you are telling me that I should do work, but I will get reaction for it. So Krishna is telling, no, don't think Arjuna like this. Any action which is done for the Lord does not bind a person. This is a statement. Any action which is done for the Lord, it is not producing any kind of karmic reaction. So then he's telling, but I heard that people become bound by karma by in all the kinds of action. So he's telling, people become bound up by karma if action is done for any other purpose. But when the action is done for Supreme Lord, then that is tad artham karma kaunteya. Tad artham, for the pleasure of Lord. Now he's telling, but even if I perform actions which are offered to Vishnu, if I have desires, then what? I'm not doing it with a selfless attitude. Arjuna will think now that okay, you are telling me that do your work for Vishnu, but still I have materialistic desires. I'm doing activity for pleasing Vishnu, but I have my material desires agenda. Then what? So in the next sloka 8 and 9, Krishna will tell, no problem, Arjun. Even if you have material desires, even you are doing activity for Vishnu with material desires, don't worry. And then we'll again start explaining Karma Kand. Karma Kand is also better. Don't go for jnana. Don't go for renunciation. Either do karma yoga, nishkam karma yoga. If you cannot do karma yoga, nishkam karma yoga, then do karma kanda. But don't go for jnana yoga or the artificial renunciation. Now Arjuna is saying, but you told me na in second chapter that when one nicely performs nishkam karma yoga, then the level of jnana yoga comes. So jnana yoga is better than nishkam karma yoga. That is what you told. And now you are telling, don't go for jnana yoga. So Arjuna is getting confused. अरे आप खुद ही बोलते हो कि ज्ञान योगा सबसे बेस्ट है, लेकिन आप सडनली बोलते हो कि निष्काम कर्म योगा क्यों बार बार मुझे यही बोल रहे कि आपकी प्रोपेंसिटीज प्यूरिफाई नहीं हुई है. तो he said rather than doing that way, do your activities for pleasure of Lord Vishnu. So this is what the discussion is going on. Yes, bro. a ninth one. Very beautiful shloka, nice purport, and nice translation. This is the art of doing work.
Translation. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage.
Yeah. Srila Prabhupada gives a very beautiful example of like a military man. Now this military man, he goes and he kills hundreds of soldiers on the battle, and then he gets a Paramvir Chakra, or he gets an award, he gets a remuneration, he gets prize, and he just comes back home and he just slaps one person, just slaps, and he goes to jail. Now you see, on the battle he killed hundreds of people, he got prize, he got promotion, he got recognition. After coming home, he did not even kill, he slapped one person and he goes to jail. So that's why this is the difference between the kind of work. When any work which is performed for Vishnu, it causes freedom from the bondage. But any work done selfishly, it is a cause of bondage. So yes, bro. Purport.
Since one has to work even for the simple maintenance of the body, the prescribed duties for a particular social position and quality are so made that the purpose can be fulfilled. Yajna means Lord Vishnu or sacrificial performance. All sacrificial performances also are meant for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. The Vedas enjoin Yagno vai Vishnu. In other words, the same purpose is served whether one performs prescribed yagna or directly serves Lord Vishnu. Krishna consciousness is therefore performance of yagna as it is prescribed in this verse. The Varnashram institution also aims at satisfying Lord Vishnu. वर्णाश्रमाचारवता पुरुषेण परम पुमान विष्णुराराध्यते. Therefore, one has to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Any other work done in this material world will be cause of bondage, for both good and evil work have their reactions, and any reactions bind the performer. Therefore, one has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Krishna or Vishnu, and while performing such activities, one is in a liberated state. This is the great art of doing work. And in the beginning, this process requires very expert guidance. One should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of a devotee of Lord Krishna or under the direct instruction of Lord Krishna himself, under whom Arjun had the opportunity to work. Nothing should be performed for sense gratification, but everything should be done for the satisfaction of Krishna. This practice will not only save one from reaction of work, but also gradually elevate one to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God.
Oh, beautiful purport. Certain statements which Srila Prabhupada is writing here. Any work done in the material world will be the cause of bondage. Even good work perform and bad work perform. Both are causes of bondage. Even good work perform. So I remember in earlier Krishna Conscious Day, that's why when we say this mantra, na, that at the time of initiation, even good karma and bad karma both are taken. I was saying, why they are taking good karma also? And they give the good karma at least. They have to take bad karma only. Guru should take bad karma. No, good karma will also cause the bondage. So in the earlier days of my Krishna consciousness, because I'm coming from a Gujarati background, I had a lot of habit of doing charity. So any beggar used to come, I used to give him money, I used to give him some chocolate, or even after becoming devotee for 1-2 years, because my mother parents have taught that way. Any beggar comes, just give some money, 10 rupee, 5 rupee, this rupee, that rupee. One devotee told, you are doing good work, but for that good work, we'll have to take another birth. Well, Acha, for good work, you have to take another birth? He said, yeah, because you're doing punya, na? So for that punya, you have to come again and take the benefit. He said, this is the फंसने वाला हूँ मैं तो. Well, so yes, good work is also cause of bondage. So we have to do the work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. When we do the work, so same work, good and bad work, whatever good or bad work are there, if they're done for the satisfaction of Vishnu, then that work is not going to cause a bondage. So Yagna vai saha Vishnu. So here same thing what Vishwanath Chakra Thakur is writing. That it, yes, Vaibhav Prabhu, want to ask something?
Prabhuji, means satisfaction of Vishnu means how to relate. Maybe means I'm in Grihastha life and I have to do my duty like going to job and doing meeting and like this. So Prabhuji, how we can relate this in satisfaction of Vishnu?
Okay. So Vaibhav Prabhu is asking question that as a now householder devotee now, and we have to go for perform so many other activities. Like now, as soon as this Bhakti Shastri class ends, many will have to leave for your IT job, and you have to log in, you have to travel in the bus, and you have to do other things. How to see that whatever activity you're doing, it is a yajna. I don't know which kind of yajna on laptop we do. We sit on the laptop and we remove the bugs and we work on the code and we file mails, and how to see this as an yajna. So, okay, any devotees would like to contribute? I'll answer surely, but let's see the understanding of the different devotees. How to do the work? Which yajna it is being performed here? Which yajna is being spoken about here?
Devotee can do donation.
Oh,
That will
donation,
be-
that will happen after salary comes, no? But what about now?
We can just change the
Which
intention,
yajna,
not the
Prabhu?
action.
IT job yajna.
हाथ खड़ा करो।
Oh, Abhinandan Prabhu is telling while doing the work, remember Lord. Amazing. How to remember Lord while doing the work. While teaching physics, chemistry, while doing other. Oh, Krishna is there in those equations. Okay, okay. Kaushik.
Prabhuji, we are doing that work under the guidance of superior, so that guidance will act as our protector. That
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Prabhupada wrote in that purport. This requires expert guidance. Okay. And giving charity. Okay, charity to road every day difficult to give, no? Every day charity, salary comes or donation. Okay, okay. Any other point? Any other
So
way?
once goal is fixed or goal is clear, then the path or process is like mostly it will be easy, but the goal is like fluctuating or blur, then it is very difficult to have the path as a Krishna consciousness.
Correct. Thank you. So now you see, let's say suppose today you have to perform a yajna. Today you have to perform a yajna. Now for performance of that yajna, what all things are required? I'm talking about a real yajna, means the Vedic yajna. What all things are required?
Ghee,
Ghee is
chandan,
required. Then wood is required, and then fruits and different so many grains and different things. Now somebody has to go to the market and purchase all those grains. Somebody has to go to market and get the ghee. Somebody has to go and cut the firewood. Somebody has to go and prepare the yajna kund. Somebody has to go, and now if you see there are so many materialistic active, invite the people, do this, that, so many things are there. If you see, although in the Vedic times the work was very little closer to the spiritual thing, but it is in one way material only. Cut the firewood, material thing. Get the ghee from the market, material thing. Go and get the cow milk, material thing only. But in the Vedic time, the professions were such that it was easy to relate with the job now. But in one say, they're all materialistic activities only. But all this become yajna because, what we say, the one we know that yajna, which I am going to perform, it is for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. So all the other things which are done is only for that one purpose, to do the yajna. Similarly, in the life of a devotee, all materialistic activity which he does, okay, putting the school children in admission, school, taking Mataji to hospital, taking parents to the hospital, all these are considered to be like activities which are done to perform an yajna. How? Because the ultimate goal, as some of the devotees said, ultimate goal is we want to practice Krishna consciousness together. So if this is not done, that we want to give time for Krishna consciousness, yajna may be only half an hour only. But sometimes, like Rajasuya yajna, the Rajasuya yajna, it got performed only in 3 days only. 3 दिन में मतलब पूरा चला गया राजसूय यज्ञ, 3 दिन में उनका यज्ञ हो गया पूरा. लेकिन उसके लिए उनको पूरा साल भर का मेहनत करना पड़ा. अर्जुन को क्या क्या करना पड़ा? जरासंध को मारना पड़ा, बाद में सब सोल्जर्स को हराना पड़ा, कृष्ण को इतने सारे डीमंस के पहले शिशुपाल ये वो सब कितना बैटल करना पड़ा एक राजसूय यज्ञ करने के लिए, इतना बैकग्राउंड प्रिपरेशंस. और उसमें तो मर्डर करने पड़ रहे, जरासंध का मर्डर किया, कितने राजा को मर्डर किया. अब ये मर्डर जो है कौन से प्रकार का कृष्णा कॉन्शियस एक्टिविटी है? आप सोचो, मर्डर करना, खून करना, लोगों शादी करना, ये करना, कितना मर्डरिस्टिक एक्टिविटी दिखाई दे रहा है. यज्ञ तो 3 दिन में हो गया, लेकिन एंड जस्टिफाइज ऑल द मीन्स. एंड जस्टिफाइज, एंड गोल क्या है, स्वार्थ गति क्या है, what purpose the activity is done, that is a yajna. So now going to IT job, getting money, then taking care of wife, taking care of children, doing all the household chores. But after doing all these things, one is not let's say उन्होंने इतना सब कुछ किया, अर्जुन ने, युधिष्ठिर महाराज ने सबका इतना फाइट किया, जरासंध का फाइट किया, ये किया, सब कुछ किया, और बाद में बोले राजसूय यज्ञ का टाइम आया और बोलेंगे कि अब नहीं, हम सॉरी यज्ञ नहीं करेंगे। तो बोले श्रम एव ही केवलम, इतना सब कुछ किया तुमने और तुम यज्ञ ही नहीं किया, दैट्स व्हाई श्रम एव ही केवलम हो गया फिर वो। तो सेम प्रॉब्लम अर्जुन के साथ हो गया था, इसलिए कृष्ण अर्जुन को बोल रहे हैं तुमने इतना अज्ञातवास किया, इतना बैटल किया, द्रौपदी का इंसल्ट हुआ, ये सब कुछ हुआ, अब फाइनल मैच आया है, तुम्हारा यज्ञ करने का टाइम आया है और तुम वो बोलते हो कि मैं यज्ञ नहीं करूंगा। तो व्हाट इज द यूज, तुम्हारा वो यज्ञ नहीं रहेगा, बंधन का कारण बनेगा। अगर सो सिमिलरली एज अ डिवोटी, Shankar Chandasarikari Prabhu gives a very nice solution. Somebody answered here, we should remember Krishna always, even while doing the work. So then Shankar Chandasarikari Prabhu was asked that, Prabhu, how to remember Krishna always? How to remember Krishna while driving the vehicle? How to remember Krishna while doing the IT code? He said, first remember Krishna while doing Krishna conscious activity. Then you will remember Krishna while doing non-Krishna conscious activity. Something apparent which is non-Krishna conscious. So while chanting, while doing Mangal Aarti, while reading scriptures, while attending Bhakti Shastri class, while doing all this thing, at least we should remember Krishna. If you are not remembering Krishna right now only, then how will remember Krishna while doing some other activities? So first remember Krishna in Krishna conscious activity, and then automatically one will be forced to remember Krishna. One will be encouraged to remember Krishna while doing apparently non-Krishna conscious activity. I hope Prabhu, Vaibhav Prabhu, this answers your question.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So these are all like background preparation which we are doing. Going to job, getting money, but ultimately spend and chant Hare Krishna. Because in Kali Yuga there is only one yajna, Sankirtan yajna. So after doing job, after collecting money, after taking care of children, after doing all this, one does not find time to do Sankirtan yajna or chanting of the holy names. Then that becomes a Shrama Eva Kevalam. So Sankirtan yajna has to be performed. Yes, Kaushik Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in the last answer, I have just a side question. In the last answer, you mentioned about Rajasuya Yajna. So, Prabhuji, does it happen before Mahabharata or after Mahabharata? Rajasuya Yajna.
What, Prabhu?
Rajasuya Yajna after, before Mahabharata?
Before.
Before. Yes. Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Actually, that Rajasuya Yajna was also one of the seed which produced too much envy for our Duryodhana. Like Draupadi wala thing is one seed, and Rajasuya Yajna is also one of the seeds which increased the envy of Duryodhana. How much money our Yudhishthira Maharaj is getting. That's why he became much more envious. Okay. The 10th one. Now, as Arjuna said, Arjuna started thinking, oh Krishna, you told me, now same Vaibhav Prabhu, right? Now you are telling me that do your work, do your duties with desire to please me. But like you said, Prabhu, it is very difficult to have desire to actually selfish enjoyment is a general motto, that to get the money, I'll get a good salary and all these things. So Krishna is telling now, even if you have those desires, you keep on doing those desires. Do your work for my pleasure with material desires. That is karma kand. So the 10th verse is talking about now. 10th onwards, many verses are speaking about karma kand now. Again, from Nishkam Karma Yoga, again karma kand is coming. That is 10th shloka. Saha yagya praja srishtva पूर्ववाच प्रजापति अनेन प्रसविष्याध्वम् एषवो अस्तेष्ट कामधुक्. So here you will see there is a Prajapati. The word uses Prajapati. Who is Prajapati?
Generation.
Who is Prajapati? जनरली हम किसको बोलते हैं प्रजापति?
King को.
किसको?
King.
ओ नो किंग. हाँ, हम प्रजापति ब्रह्मा बोलते हैं.
ब्रह्मा जी
ब्रह्मा जी को बोलते हैं. बाद में प्रजापति दक्ष पता है आपको, प्रजापति स्वयं मनु, अलग अलग प्रजापति पता है। वैसे ही प्रजापति जो है, सुप्रीम प्रजापति कौन है? हाँ, लॉर्ड कृष्ण।
विष्णु।
ये पति, द्रव्यपति, क्रियापति, यज्ञपति, सब पति जो है, सारे पतियों के पति प्रजापति, दैट इज सारे प्रजापतियों के पति, दैट इज लॉर्ड कृष्ण। सो यहाँ पे कुछ लोग इसको ब्रह्मा बोलते हैं, प्रजापति वर्ड को, और कुछ लोगों को इसको सुप्रीम प्रजापति, क्योंकि भगवद गीता है तो कृष्णा में भी ब्रह्मा को रेफर कर रहे हैं, लेकिन डिवोटीज जो है वो कृष्णा को रेफर करते हैं। सो सह यज्ञ प्रजा सृष्टवा, तो जब क्रिएशन का शुरुआत हुआ था तो प्रजापति ने बोला था कि अगर आप यज्ञ करोगे तो आपकी मटेरियल डिजायर्स को पूरा करने के लिए सब सामग्री जो भी नीडेड है वो आपको मिल जाएगा, और साथ ही साथ में आप स्पिरिचुअली और मटेरियली दोनों एडवांस करोगे। तो दिस इज द कर्मकांड पाथ दैट इज बीइंग मेंशन्ड। यस प्रभु, प्लीज रीड 3.10।
Translation.
In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation."
या सो इसे जब
Purport?
भगवान ने क्रिएशन शुरू किया तो भगवान ने सब लोगों को जब भेजा तो उन्होंने बोला कि ठीक है, अगर तुम्हें इस जीवन में खुश रहना है तुम्हें यज्ञ करना कंपलसरी है। यज्ञ करोगे तो तुम्हें मटेरियली और स्पिरिचुअली दोनों चीजें जो प्राप्त करना है दोनों होगा। तो यज्ञ के बिना कोई व्यक्ति नहीं रह सकता है, ऐसा बताया जा रहा है। लास्ट श्लोक में बोला कि मेरे लिए यज्ञ करो। ठीक है, मेरे लिए यज्ञ नहीं कर पाते हो तो अपने लिए करो, कम से कम मेरे लिए करो, लेकिन अपने आनंद के लिए करो। चलो कोई बात नहीं, अपने आनंद के लिए करो, लेकिन यज्ञ करो। यज्ञ के बिना कोई व्यक्ति खुश नहीं हो सकता है। सो यस ब्रो, 3.10 पर्पट।
The material creation by the Lord of creatures, Vishnu, is a chance offered to the conditioned soul to come back home, back to Godhead. All living entities within the material creation are conditioned by material nature because of their forgetfulness of their relationship to Vishnu or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of
कौशिक
Godhead.
ब्रो, आपका आवाज कट रहा है, आई थिंक ब्रेक हो रहा है।
प्रभु जी अभी आ रहा है क्या? हरे कृष्णा, अभी आ रहा है प्रभु जी?
हाँ अभी आ रहा है।
Okay, okay. The material creation by the Lord of creatures, Vishnu, is a chance offered to the conditioned souls to come back home, back to Godhead. All living entities within the material creation are conditioned by material nature because of their forgetfulness of the relationship to Vishnu or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vedic principles are to help us understand this eternal relation. And it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedya. The Lord says that the purpose of Vedas is to understand Him. In the Vedic hymns, it is said, Patim Vishvayatmeshwaram. Therefore, the Lord of the living entities is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, also 2.4.20, Srila Sukdev Goswami describes the Lord as Pati in so many ways. Shriya Patir Yagya Patir Prajapatir Dhiyam Patir Lokapatir Dharapati Patir Gatis Chandaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasiddhatam Me Bhagavan Satam Patihi. The Prajapati is Lord Vishnu, and he is the Lord of all living creatures, all worlds, and all beauties, and the protector of everyone. The Lord created this material world to enable the conditioned souls to learn how to perform yajna, sacrifices, for the satisfaction of Vishnu, so that while in the material world they can live very comfortably without anxiety, and after finishing the present material body, they can enter into the kingdom of God. That is the whole program for the conditioned soul. By performance of yajna, the conditioned soul gradually become Krishna conscious and become godly in all respect. In the age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yajna, the chanting of the holy names of Lord God, is recommended by the Vedic scripture, and this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Chaitanya for the deliverance of all men in this age. Sankirtan Yajna and Krishna consciousness go well together. Lord Krishna in his devotional form as Lord Chaitanya is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32 as follows, with special reference to the Sankirtan Yajna. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yajna Sankirtana Prayad Yajanti Hi Sumedasah. In this age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates, by performance of Sankirtan Yajna. Other yajnas prescribed in the Vedic literature are not easy to perform in this age of Kali, but the Sankirtan Yajna is easy and sublime for all purposes, as recommended in Bhagavad Gita also 9.14.
Prabhupada is writing here, Sankirtan Yajna and Krishna consciousness go well together. Why like that? Because somebody may get inspiration. Okay, I'll also perform Yajna now. And let me do Gomedh Yajna. Let me do Ashwamedh Yajna. let me do Rajasuya Yagya or let me do this Yagya. Prabhupada is writing, no. Krishna consciousness के साथ generally Sankirtan Yagyas go well together. Because other Yagyas generally are meant for pleasure of demigods. Indirectly, it is Lord Vishnu's pleasure, but it is generally meant for demigods. But Sankirtan Yagya is directly meant for pleasure of the Lord. So here it is mentioned here, whole program for the conditioned soul is made by Lord. कितना बड़ा प्रोग्राम बनाया है ना भगवान ने कंडीशन सोल को वापस भगवत धाम लाने के लिए. ओके, एक छोटा सा हम ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करते हैं. आप लोग थोड़ा विचार करके बताइए कि एक कंडीशन सोल को वापस लाने के लिए भगवान ने क्या प्रोग्राम बनाया है, कितना बड़ा अरेंजमेंट किया है. तो आप फटाफट चैट बॉक्स में लिखिए क्या क्या किया है भगवान ने जस्ट हम लोगों को भगवत धाम जाने के लिए, वापस लेके जाने के लिए. स्क्रिप्चर दिए, थैंक यू एक प्रो, स्क्रिप्चर्स दिए, हरिनाम दिया, रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स दिए, प्योर डिवोटीज दिए, डीटी दिया, और क्या दिया है, प्रभुपाद दिए, वाह वाह प्रभुपाद दिए, होली नेम दिया, होली रिवर दिया, प्रसादम दिया, गुरु दिया, प्रसाद दिया. सब लोग प्रसाद को बहुत याद कर रहे हैं. हरिनाम दिया, धाम दिया, तुलसी महारानी दिया, माय गॉड. और क्या क्या दिया प्रभु, जस्ट हम लोगों को डिवोटीज दिए, एसोसिएशन दिया, जगन्नाथ जी दिए और एमपी का मतलब मॉर्निंग प्रोग्राम. ओके, मॉर्निंग प्रोग्राम, महाप्रभु पता नहीं जो भी है. फास्ट टाइम्स, ह्यूमन बॉडी दिया, होली रिवर दिया, फिलोसॉफी दिया, यज्ञ दिया, क्या क्या घी दिया, मैंगो दिया, क्या क्या नहीं दिया है प्रभु, जस्ट यू कैन इमेजिन. सब कुछ 64 लिम्स ऑफ भक्ति दिया. सो एक कंडीशन सोल, गुरु दिया, साधु दिया, शास्त्र दिया. एक कंडीशन सोल को वापस लेके जाने के लिए अलग अलग प्रकार के फिलोसॉफीज दिए है ना, कर्मयोग, ज्ञान योग, निष्काम कर्मयोग, ध्यान योग, योगा, आयुर्वेद, इतना सब कुछ जो दिया है केवल एक जीवात्मा को वापस भगवत धाम लेके जाने के लिए. लेकिन व्यक्ति जो है इतना सब कुछ होने के बाद भी फंस जाता है. He doesn't take to Krishna consciousness despite of all these things. So entire the Prabhupada is writing here, so many Vedas, कितने वेदास दिए, सब कुछ दिया है. तो he said this is an entire program done by Lord. श्रीमद् भागवतम दिया, चैतन्य चरितामृत दिया, कितना सब कुछ दिया, इतने सारे आचार्य लोग आए. That is a program for conditioned soul to go back home, back to body. And only one thing, that do your yajna. Do your yajna, and when you do this yajna, you'll become happy. So without doing yajna, you cannot be happy, right? So now, yajna, what is meaning of word yajna? Because again and again this word is coming as a yajna. So what kind of yajna we should do? So Prabhupada has clearly told Sankirtan Yagya, right now. But now let's see this word Yagya. Now, okay, I'm just showing this on screen now. By sharing the screen, I come to know how many people are active and how many are inactive. Because I exactly get to know how many are actually looking at the screen and how many are away. Because here it tells, no, exactly it tells me how many people are live and how many people are inactive. So out of 29, 23 people are active right now. Okay. So now what is meaning of word yajna? So it is said yajna means sacrifice. Now sacrifice what? So sacrifice what? So there are different kinds of sacrifice. So one should sacrifice wealth. One should sacrifice his time, energy. One should sacrifice his time. One should sacrifice his resources. So even for becoming materially successful, these all things have to be sacrificed. Sacrifice intelligence. Now, how to sacrifice intelligence? Sacrifice means use it. Use it for someone else's benefit. Use it. Use wealth for someone else's benefit. Use energy for someone else's benefit. Use time for someone else's benefit. Right? So this is called as sacrifice. So to become materially successful also, even one has to sacrifice. And similarly, to become spiritually successful also, use these things for performing Sankirtan Yajna. So use things for performing Sankirtan Yajna. That is to practice bhakti, use your wealth to propagate bhakti. Use your energy to propagate bhakti. Use your time to propagate bhakti and practice bhakti. So without sacrifice, a person cannot be happy. So that is what is being mentioned here. And by performance of such sacrifice, by giving up, and sacrifice involves one special quality, that without attachment, because sacrifice forces you to be detached. Because the hard-earned money which a person obtained, he has to give it to Krishna consciousness. तो बेचारे ने इतना मेहनत करके लाया, लेकिन he has to use it for God's purpose. That means detachment. So now energy, time, intelligence. So he said similarly, this is the way of getting yajna. So do yajna. Yajna is a way to become detached. Okay. So Prabhupada is writing here, Sankirtan Yajna. And those who are very intelligent, they will perform Sankirtan Yajna. That is 3.10 we discussed till now. Now coming to just two, I think I'll just check how many more verses in this section. So this section gets over and that. We are reading now which one? 10th, no? So yeah, till 16th verse, Karmakand to Karma Yoga section is going to come. Let's go from Karmakand to Karma Yoga. Again, Krishna will come back to Karma Yoga in 16th verse, but he's telling now, if you cannot do, let's do Karmakand. So this 10th verse is talking about Karmakand. Now, what will happen by Karmakand?
कर्मकांड है ना 15 श्लोका तक.
इट इज लाइक प्रभु जी कर्म योगा तक पहुंच रहा है. कर्म 15 योगा मतलब एक स्टेप थोड़ा थोड़ा बेटर कर्मकांड हो रहा है, धीमे धीमे कर्मयोग बन जाएगा.
ओके.
11th वर्स, देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वा परस्परं भावयन्त श्रेय परम अवाप्स्यथ.
The demigods, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you, and thus by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all.
यस, तो बोले डेमिगॉड्स को प्रसन्न करो. डेमिगॉड देवताओं को प्रसन्न करोगे तो आपके जीवन में समृद्धि आएगी. तो इस प्रकार से बोल रहे, देवता को प्रसन्न करो, यज्ञ करो.
Purport. The demigods are empowered administrators of material affairs. The supply of air, light, water, and all other benedictions for maintaining the body and soul for every living entity is entrusted to the demigods, who are innumerable assistants in different parts of the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Their pleasure and displeasure are dependent on the performance of yajna by the human being. Some of the yajna are meant to satisfy a particular demigod, but even in so doing, Lord Vishnu is worshipped in all the yajnas as the chief beneficiary. It is stated also in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna himself is the beneficiary of all kinds of yajna. Bhuktaram yajna tapassam. Therefore, ultimate satisfaction of the Yajnapati is the chief purpose of all the yajnas. When these yajna are perfectly performed, naturally the demigods in charge of different departments of supply are pleased, and there is no scarcity in the supply of natural products. Performance of the yajna has many sided benefits, ultimately leading to liberation from material bondage. By performance of yajnas, all activities become purified. It is stated in the Vedas, Ahara Suddho, Sattva Suddho Dhruva, Smriti Lambe, Sarva Gatinam Viparam Moksha. By the performance of the yajna, one eatables becomes sanctified, and being eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence becomes purified. By the purification of the existence, finer tissues in the memory become sanctified, and when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation, and all this combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of the present day society.
There is a description about importance of taking Krishna Prasad. Ahara Shuddha. Everything starts with Ahar. Srila Prabhupada understood this. Srila Prabhupada understood, that's why Srila Prabhupada did a liberal Prasadam distribution program. Srila Prabhupada fed the devotees like anything. Because the problem is Ahar is not Shuddha, then that's why Satta is, the intelligence doesn't become Shuddha. So as soon as we work upon Ahara Shuddha, then what happens? Then intelligence Sattva Shuddha. When Sattva Shuddhi, then Buddhi becomes, the intelligence becomes Shuddha, and then one performs. So it said, that's why importance of taking Krishna Prasadam. So entire existence, Prabhupada is writing, there is a need of a finer tissues. Finer tissues are required for performance of yajna and for performance of Krishna consciousness. And that is only possible when we do yajna. And that is, we offer bhoga to the Lord. And then we only take Krishna prasadam. So yeah, offering Krishna prasadam, offering bhoga is also called as yajna only. So by offering bhoga to Lord, if anything which is offered as a bhoga becomes purified. So that's why we offer our money, which is also like, it's a bhoga. We offered as a, then it becomes Krishna Prasad. We offer our work, then it becomes Krishna Prasad. Everything should be offered to the Lord, then that becomes Krishna Prasad. So this is the way by which now Krishna will tell, somebody is getting from demigod so many things and he doesn't pay back to demigods, then that is called as chore. It is called as chore only. Like you earn so much money from the company and you fail to pay the tax, then you get a tax. You become a tax chore, right? So it's demigods are supplying so many necessities to us, and if we do not do yajna, then we'll be called as chore. Yes, Vaibhav Prabhu.
प्रभु जी यहाँ पे मेंशन किया है कि डिमीगॉड को प्लीज करना है, तो प्रभु जी जो इंद्र का जो स्टोरी यहाँ पे कैसे रिलेट करे, तो वहां पे भी ब्रजवासी इंद्र को प्लीज करने के लिए यज्ञ कर रहे थे।
तो क्योंकि लेकिन कृष्णा कहते थे वृंदावन वालों को, अरे आप कृष्णा कॉन्शियस डिवोटी हो, मैं कृष्णा आपके सामने हूँ, मैं आप कृष्णा कॉन्शियस हो, आप इस लेवल पे नहीं हो, आप शुद्ध भक्त हो। तो ये जो बात बताया गया है ये थोड़े निचले लेवल लोगों के लिए बताया गया है, ये कर्मकांड है ना, इसलिए तो दिस इज अ कर्मकांड। सो यहाँ पे प्रभुपाद ने इसलिए देखो, अल्दो कर्मकांड वर्स है, प्रभुपाद ने क्या लिखा क्लियरली कि लॉर्ड विष्णु ये सारे यज्ञों के चीफ बेनिफिशियरी है। तो ये ध्यान रखना है, भोक्ताराम यज्ञ तपस्याम। तो अगर कोई डिवोटी भी जब यज्ञ करता है, जैसे डिवोटीज भी कभी कभी वास्तु यज्ञ करते हैं, डिवोटीज भी नरसिंह यज्ञ करते हैं, डिवोटीज अलग अलग प्रकार के विवाह यज्ञ, ये यज्ञ अलग अलग यज्ञ करते हैं, लेकिन अब डिवोटी के जो परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ यज्ञ में और नॉन डिवोटीज के परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ यज्ञ में बहुत फर्क है। कि डिवोटीज जो है वो अल्टीमेटली विष्णु को प्रसन्न करने के लिए करते हैं, नरसिंह यज्ञ, वामन यज्ञ, वराह यज्ञ, इवन वास्तु शांति का जो यज्ञ होता है उसमें भी हम किसको वर्शिप करते हैं, कुर्म यज्ञ करते हैं, कुर्म देव को प्रसन्न करते हैं, नरसिंह देव को प्रसन्न करते हैं। सो जनरली डेमिगॉड्स, इवन भरत महाराज जो डेमिगॉड को वर्शिप करते थे, लेकिन वो भरत महाराज जो थे डेमिगॉड को किस प्रकार से करते थे, ओ दिस आर द डिफरेंट लिम्स ऑफ विष्णु, उस प्रकार से करते थे वो। सो विष्णु लाइक आई जस्ट टेल यू वन सिंपल एग्जांपल नाउ। सम पीपल, मेनी पीपल आस्क दैट प्रभु हम डेमिगॉड का वर्शिप हमारे कुल दैवत है, ये एस्ट्रोलॉजी है, या हम डेमिगॉड्स का वर्शिप करते हैं। तो गोपीज ने भी देवताओं का वर्शिप किया। देन काफी सारे डिवोटीज भी हम देखते हैं स्क्रिप्चर्स में वो डेमिगॉड का वर्शिप किए। तो क्या हम नहीं कर सकते क्या डेमिगॉड का वर्शिप? व्हाट डू यू से? यस, ऑनलाइन डिवोटीज, द ग्रेटर ऑडियंस हियर, क्या हम डिवोटीज डेमिगॉड का वर्शिप कर सकते हैं, नहीं कर सकते हैं?
So, like, I have similar question to Amshubu also. Amshubu told that according to faith, like one may be doing or one may not be, but it is not compulsory to worship always. But if you have any challenges in your devotional service, devotional life, then you can perform for that.
Okay, thank you. Yes, bro. Any other perspective?
But for what's the benefit? Like worshipping Ganesha so that he can give the knowledge to please Krishna and
Okay, so we can worship demigods also, but at the same time ask spiritual benedictions from them. Okay. Rukmini also worship Katyani Devi and all that. Okay, any other devotees? As a devotees, know all of us.
To us by Prabhuji, am I audible?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, if you see the program given by Prabhupada, so there is no need to worship demigod, but actually if somebody wants to increase love for Krishna, that's why he's worshipping. So that may be allowed. But for Prabhuji, for preaching purpose, it is seen that sometimes to take people on our side, we may sometimes show a worship of demigod, then people, and then we give them Krishna consciousness. I have seen this certain times happening. Somebody, and Prabhuji, and Rup Goswami also says in...
Rup Goswami says about Chaitanya Ganesh.
Ganesh ji, so Prabhuji, can you please explain that also? That he directly writes that one should worship Lord Ganesh.
So Lord Ganesh. Yeah. So Lord Ganesh is a pure devotee first of all, and Lord Ganesh is called as Vigna Vinashak, So in the performance of any yajna, the importance of deity of Ganesh is there. Without Ganesha, any yajna or any religious ceremony cannot happen properly. That is the prescription which is given. Without worship of Ganesh. But we know, because we are devotees of Krishna, we are worshippers of Narsimhadev. And Lord Ganesh is a devotee of Narsimhadev. That is mentioned in one of the Puranas there. That Narsingh Puran, so this how it. So it is not compulsory or mandatory for our devotees, because Krishna is not. Now, there is another example which is also given. Like, you go to a doctor, allopathic doctor, right? You go to a doctor for a problem. Now, isn't it a breach of faith? You are not depending on Krishna. You have some materialistic problem, and you are going to a doctor for you are going to a doctor and you are taking a treatment. Now, although you say Krishna, you are only my protector. What मारो भी राखो भी आपको जो करना है. लेकिन कैंसर आया तो बराबर डॉक्टर के पास गया और डॉक्टर का मदद लिया ना. तो क्या ये गलत नहीं है? तो वैसे ही मुझे डिफिकल्टी आई, मैंने डेमिगॉड का मदद लिया. मुझे मेरे एग्जाम में मार्क्स कम, शादी नहीं हो रही थी, चलो उमा के पास चला गया. बाद में पैसा नहीं आ रहा तो शिव जी के पास चला गया. तो क्या प्रॉब्लम है? जब डिफिकल्टी आती है तो हम डॉक्टर के पास भी जाते हैं. ये संकेत प्रो.
We go to doctor so that like after getting cured we can serve Krishna more nicely, and also like we do not go that there is no complete dependence while going to doctor. And in the back of the mind we also think that ultimately the cure is in the hand of Lord, but at least the process I have to do.
Yeah, same thing. If somebody is going to demigod with similar understanding, then it is okay. It is okay. But there is a problem. When you take help from demigods, there is a very big risk. Naturally, somebody is doing you, because the doctors, they want little bit only. But demigods, they can suddenly make you wealthy. Or demigod can give you new body only. They have so much power. And somebody does such a miracle to you, then do you feel that we'll be obliged to them? And instead of chanting Hare Krishna, we'll start feeling, अरे यार कृष्णा तो बहुत स्लोली प्रेयर, ये प्रॉब्लम, इस कृष्णा बहुत स्लोली प्रेयर सुनते हैं, ये डेमिगॉड फटाफट फुलफिल प्रे कर देते हैं, चलो भैया मैं डेमिगॉड का ही करता हूँ थोड़ा थोड़ा. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज अ ब्रीच ऑफ फेथ. लेकिन इन केस ऑफ डॉक्टर, हमें डॉक्टर के प्रति इतनी आसक्ति भी नहीं होती है. ठीक है, उसने मेरी जान बचाई, भगवान उसको बुद्धि दे, भगवान उसको शक्ति दे, भक्ति दे, हम उसके लिए प्रे करते हैं. लेकिन डेमिगॉड के लिए, हम डेमिगॉड के केस में डेमिगॉड को बड़ा बना देंगे हमारे जीवन में. दैट्स वाई. लेकिन अगर कोई इस कॉन्शियसनेस से करता है, चलो भाई डेमिगॉड को भी एक डॉक्टर की तरह देखता है, उनको एंगेज करता है कृष्णा की सेवा में और उनके लिए प्रे करता है, चलो तुमने इंदिरा, तुमने मेरी इतनी मदद की, चलो मैं आपके लिए प्रे करता हूँ. लेकिन हम तो उनके लिए, हम उनसे प्रे करने लग जाएंगे, हम उनके लिए प्रे नहीं करेंगे. तो दिस इज द डिफिकल्टी एंड चैलेंज विद द डेमिगॉड्स. But otherwise, if somebody is in this consciousness of being considering doctor, चलो मदद लो, भक्ति करो, आगे बढ़ो, then okay. But बहुत रिस्की है, बहुत रिस्की है.
प्रभु जी, गणेश जी मतलब नरसिंहदेव के ये मतलब ड्यूटी है. तो प्रभु जी मतलब हमारे नरसिंहदेव, बट प्रभु जी एक एक क्वेश्चन एक रेज हुआ था. मैं जब लास्ट टाइम गोवर्धन इको विलेज में गया था तो वहाँ पे गणेश जी का भी ये था. तो प्रभु जी मतलब वो कैसे रिलेट करे फिर?
हाँ प्रभु, गणेश जी में देयर इज नो इश्यू ऑफ पुटिंग गणेश जी इन द टेम्पल और एनीवेयर एंड वर्शिपिंग गणेश जी, हनुमान जी, दिस आर ऑल deities. शिव जी, they are all the deities which we can, as a devotee, somebody can worship, but in a right consciousness. The consciousness has to be right. Any demigod you worship, like sometimes when we go to Shiva temple, Ganesh temple, we go to even Durga temple. So Vaishnavas don't have any difficulty with all these demigods, understanding their right position. Worship them as a devotee of Lord and not as a demigod and a warder of material benediction. So in Govardhan Eco village, why Ganesh ji is kept, that Maharaj knows. There is a purpose, or whatever purpose is there, that is generally, especially in ISKCON temple and other, that is generally done as an attitude of preaching only. Preaching or some purpose is there. Otherwise, devotees don't need to keep the demigod temples and other things. That is done with some motto that only pure devotee knows what purpose. Only Maharaj may know what purpose they are kept. Otherwise, no, not needed. Yes, Rohit Prabhu.
Just maybe like for that Ganesh Mandir, like one thing I heard a reason why it was there. Can I share?
Yeah, yes, bro.
Like I heard that when we got the land, that temple was already there and Ganeshji was already there. Maharaj said not to remove it. Like
Yeah,
they
perfect.
put Narsimha deity or like photo also there.
Yeah, perfect. In Chowpatty also similar thing, na? Ganesh ji was also there, and in Chowpatty also Mahalakshmi temple was there. So although generally we don't worship Mahalakshmi and Vishnu and Lakshmi Narayan, generally we don't worship Lakshmi Narayan, but in Chowpatty temple it was already there. Same way in Balaji. In one way, although we do not worship Balaji also, although Balaji is our Lord only, Balaji is Vishnu only, but it is not in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara we worship Balaji. But he was already there in the place when we started. So now he's Lord only, Vishnu only, so we worship him. So like that, we worship him. Balaji. Okay, I think your time is already up now, Prabhu. So maybe tomorrow we'll go from Karma Kand to Karma Yoga and till we'll complete till 16th verse. In next week, Prabhu, Tejas Prabhu, in next week, which date it is coming?
Thursday, Prabhuji.
So actually 26 and 27, little bit I am unsure about my availability. So I'll update you. In case if I'm not available, I'm traveling. In case if it doesn't fit in, we may have to give off for the next week. So good news for all of you. Or bad news, I don't know. I'll try my best not to give you good news. But in case it good news comes, be happy with the good news. Or bad news, whatever. You may get a holiday. I'm traveling Ayodhya. So I'm not sure about my internet connectivity, availability, and schedules a little bit. In case if it comes, then let's see.
Okay. Then any other day, Prabhuji, in that week?
I think I'll be able to tell you by Monday only. I'll be able to tell you by Monday.
Okay.
That is 24th only. I'll be able to tell you that what is possibility. Yeah.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
Thank you.